So I'm Rosa. I've come here today with Animal Rebellion to talk about our new Plant-Based Futures campaign. But first, I want to talk a bit about the climate crisis. I think everyone who's come out here today is fully aware that we're in a climate emergency. Hopefully you're aware of what that means. It means that 20% of the Earth's surface is going to be uninhabitable in the next few decades. And sorry to bring it down a bit, but this also means that there'll be 1 to 3 billion climate refugees. This is all going to be before I have the chance to raise children. It's been described as a code red for humanity, and that absolutely is what this is. The things that make this planet the only place that we've ever discovered that can harbour life, that's what's being lost here. It's going to become uninhabitable. And despite how our government seems to be acting, we have to face this with the conviction, with the energy, and with the amount of change that can meet the level of crisis we are facing. What we must do, as Greenpeace is doing, as Just Stop Oil is doing, we must stop burning fossil fuels. But the other thing that we do have to do is immediately transition to a plant-based food system. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of the biodiversity crisis and one of the leading causes of climate change. This is why Animal Rebellion is taking direct action to demand that the government supports farming and fishing communities in this transition. Farming and fishing communities are a cornerstone of British culture. We don't want them to be left behind. They tend to love animals, love the environment, but the government is pumping subsidies into a declining industry, with profits being seen by multinational corporations like Arla, and nothing being given to these communities. If the government supports them in a transition to a plant-based food system, they win, the planet wins, and we all win. The second demand of the campaign is that all freed up land and oceans, because we need far less land to grow crops than we do to feed animals, will be rewilded, reforested and restored. This would start a system of carbon drawdown, which could bring the amount of CO2 out of the atmosphere equivalent to what we produce by burning fossil fuels every year. It's a really amazing solution. If we were to transition to a plant-based food system in the UK, we would be able to grow enough food to feed 3 times the population of the UK domestically. But at the minute, over 50% of our land is used for farming agriculture. At the minute, over 2 million people are reliant on food banks. How does that make sense when we can feed them domestically if we change the system? Dairy farmers and farming communities are struggling, even though the large dairy distribution companies are still making huge profits. Mental health among farming communities is way lower than the national average. We have one solution to all of these problems. Transitioning to a plant-based food system with assistance from the government can help us all. It will require change, but we don't have the option not to change when we're facing the things that I mentioned when I started talking. That's why we're launching the Plant-Based Futures campaign. That's why we and hundreds of other people are taking non-violent direct action. If you want to speak more about it, because I don't have much time and it is a really complicated thing to talk about, come find me over by the Just Stop Oil tent, and I can talk more about it to you then. But please, 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 join us this September to bring this into the national conversation and to stop the supply of dairy. Thank you.